Good morning, everybody.
Hello. This is starting well. In this video, we are going to have a public falling out.
No, we're not.
This could be the end of a beautiful relationship. But we thought we'd have a little talk about the Aixam Mega that I drove recently, because it has caused some upset in places, which obviously I'm not happy about. I don't make videos to cause any level of upset at all, and like everything, there are always people who love everything. No matter what a vehicle is, there will be someone out there who loves it.
But alongside the internet, guess what? It's also upset me, because this is a vehicle that I would really have liked to have gone along and enjoyed, but
you wouldn't have enjoyed it.
I spent a very rare moment with my mum, so I wasn't there, and I didn't see what he had the video before he put it out. And sometimes, although we might seem all hearts and flowers, sometimes we don't agree, and on this one we don't agree.
Yeah, we don't agree because you weren't there.
No,
you
we
didn't
don't agree
it.
because you took this vehicle entirely out of its context.
But did I?
Even, I know what you're going to say, they sold them here.
Exactly.
They sold them here. But if you look on the Aixam website, so obviously over here we don't have the sans permis category of driver.
No, you have to have a license to drive a vehicle on the road.
You have to have a license to drive a vehicle over here. Now, if you look at Aixam's website itself, they say that our vehicles are for you, whatever your, I'm just literally translating from the French, your professional activities and whatever your job without a license. And that's the really important thing, is this is a vehicle that's directed at the sans permis. It's like the Citroën Ami. I adore the Citroën Ami. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful little thing. But the reality for it is, what's the category called where they're not
quadricycle.
It's a quadricycle.
Yeah.
So
and it's a very poor
car
example of a car because it can only do 28 miles an hour.
But that's not what it's for. It's not a car. You went and you drove this as a car. This is not. This is a quadricycle.
No, I didn't go and drive it as a car. I went to drive it as what it is, which is a little truck. So I went to drive it
and
thinking
it's very good. It's quite
tuk-tuks and the Reliant Fox I used to own, that sort of vibe.
When we were in Mallorca, we saw absolutely loads of the Aixams in their various
let's just quickly say the Aixam cars and the micro cars is another brand. They exist for these sans permis. You can drive them. They're almost counted as a moped in some countries. But here in the UK, you can drive one on a motorbike license. If you haven't got a car license, you can drive an Aixam or equivalent.
But I got to say, I would be so much happier to have our children, because I went to France on an exchange when I was 14 and ended up on the back of my exchange student's scooter. Scariest thing ever. But I would be much happier for them to be in a vehicle like this. But as somebody who's struggled with learning to drive and so on, if there was a vehicle that I could have that was more substantial, because you are allowed to carry.
Well, I suppose it did have a roll bar.
Yeah, it is more so. It's a vehicle. You're in a vehicle as opposed to on the back of a scooter, for a start.
Yeah, but on a scooter you can fall away from the accident.
But these.
I actually genuinely had someone say that's the reason for riding a motorbike. Oh, motorbike's safer because I can get myself away from the accident.
Is this like the same people with the lifts falling? You've got to jump at the
right road? Exactly. You'll survive. No.
Yeah, but it's not. It wasn't a car that was made for here, and yes, I appreciate they sold them here.
Yeah, so therefore they thought they were a vehicle for here.
They're not for here because they don't fit in our infrastructure.
No.
If you think about Mallorca and you think about places like Piensa and even Alcudia.
Oh yeah, all those lovely little towns utterly ruined by the sound of an industrial diesel engine going dunk 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 dunk.
People are able to go about their business because the load on them is quite good, and that's how they advertise themselves, as having a good load.
Half a ton payload.
Yeah. But if you're a market stall holder, you're not going to carry more than that, are you? And this means you can get all your stock to the venue or change the bins or whatever with these vehicles. So they're extremely useful, but within the context. I'd love to have one here. I don't
think context applies to that 2-cylinder diesel engine. It's utterly horrific. And I would like to add, this isn't a problem unique to the Aixam Mega and the little cars, but could also be specified with a diesel engine. The Volkswagen XL1, really super futuristic hybrid that I drove some years ago, actually brought over by Jim, who we're seeing today.
Oh, you've just done the review.
It's all right, this is going out after it, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we're waiting for our friends to turn up with a very high mileage Citroën. But I drove that XL1 hybrid, looks fantastic, but unfortunately, once the battery's out, this little 2-cylinder diesel engine fires into life, and the noise is horrible. It's like being followed around by a cement mixer.
Yeah, but I mean, over in the continent, the mopeds and whatnot, they make little angry bee noises.
Yeah, but this is it. You see, I've driven tuk-tuks and stuff which have little petrol engines, and they tend to be zingy
so
and not so onerous.
It's not the concept and the fact that it is a highly utilitarian vehicle within the context that it should be in. It's the engine that's annoying.
It's mostly the engine.
Yeah.
I mean, the build quality was appalling as well.
Oh,
but I'm used to appalling build quality. In
I
many
love
of the
that you
vehicles
say
I love.
this when some of the things that we've owned are just
I know.
horrific.
It seems harsh.
Horrific. Yeah. But I mean, there is a use for them over here. So in our village currently, and it's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous.
It is.
So we live in a very tourist town, and they're taking the bins off the beach because the bin lorry can't fit down there.
Yeah.
So we need a little Aixam here to come and pick the bins
I wouldn't
off.
fancy trying to get up that street in one.
Which one, Church Street?
Yeah. I think it would just be stuck at the bottom.
No, I think you'd be fine.
Shredding CVT belts.
You'd be fine.
I mean, this is the thing. The CVT is a troubled
You'd be fine.
transmission.
Hang on
I
a
think.
minute. You'd be absolutely fine if they work in places like Mallorca, and you've seen some of the terrain there, and in France. There is no
it is
reason
true.
It wouldn't work.
The one I
here.
was driving definitely had some issues. The centrifugal clutch didn't appear to be working. I thought it was one of those where it idles by just not turning the belt, but actually that belt should have been grabbed, and there should be a centrifugal clutch to stop the pulley going round. So there was definitely something wrong. It was using a belt from a Canadian Skidoo, not the correct one, because apparently it was shredding belts every about 3 times a year, perhaps because the clutch is balked. So it definitely wasn't the prime example, but yeah, I think it's doing me a disservice to say I did it just as a joke. I went into that completely open-minded, wanting to like it because it's a cute little truck, and I like cute little things. But I mean, honestly, compared to something like a K-truck, I mean, K-trucks are not rapid. They're 60 miles an hour is kind of about all they really want to do, but they're so much smoother, so much nicer to drive because the engine is a car engine.
But Aixam's only been, I mean, K technology and K trucks and whatnot have been around for a very, very long time. Yeah. Aixam's only been around since 1983.
Yeah, but some per me cars have been around for a very long time.
K-trucks were built with a view to being on the main road, driven by drivers. This is a completely different entity.
Oh yeah, so if you haven't got a driving license, you don't deserve a smooth engine. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying.
They're punishing all those French drunks who've lost their license.
Oh my God, this is from one of the comments. So somebody said, what was it about a French farmer?
Yeah, the prime reason that sans permis cars exist is for French people who've lost their license, and it's the only way they can get to the pub.
No, I think the sans permis categorization is fantastic, and I think to have something that's substantial that you could, because over here, yes, because over here, if you didn't have a license, you would really struggle to do something like run a market stall or something like that, or run your own business. But that gives you the freedom to do that. You can carry a half-ton payload. That's 3/4 of a bob.
Yeah, it is a different way of doing things in Europe. It just reminded me that when I was in the Netherlands last, there was a mobile market stall I saw. It had got 6 tiny little wheels, but it was, to all intents and purposes, just a market stall with an engine, and it was doing about 5 miles an hour, which was enough to get it from the bloke's house to where he sets the stall up. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And we just don't have that here because you're always dependent on driving somewhere else.
And we are about the cute, and it's super cute.
Yeah, they are very cute.
Super cute.
Yeah, and I think this second generation is even cuter.
Yeah, and the Aixam.
And it is worth pointing out, you can get an electric version, which I think makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
Because you get rid of the horrible noise, you get rid of the awful CVT. I mean, I've got a CVT car with my Invercar. It was a novel idea, but never really worked as well as we would like them to.
It's a completely different entity if you've got an electric engine rather than your 2-stroke.
I mean, the build quality is always going to be flimsy because it is built down to a weight. They have to be super light.
Yeah.
But
So it's not a car.
It's not a car. It was never tested as a car. I drove it as, here's a thing with a steering wheel. I shall jump in and drive it and see what it's like.
You never tested it as a car.
Well, of course I didn't. I got any seats in the back.
Okay, as a utilitarian truck.
Yeah, utilitarian truck.
But it's not a K truck. A K truck
I didn't say it was a
built
K
for
truck.
no, but that's your comparative.
I suppose it is my
your
comparative.
And even
Yeah, because you could go out and buy a K truck.
Piaggios are made for the road.
I will point out the Piaggio Porter, or which became a version of the Daihatsu Hijet. The company that I borrowed the Mega from also had a Daihatsu Hijet, which I think tends to be more their default choice.
But you didn't drive, did you?
I didn't drive,
no,
just didn't have the opportunity or time.
Because he did get lots of content.
Yeah,
it was a very strange day.
Very busy day.
Yeah.
So I would love to drive one of those. And again, you've still got the situation where your knees are the impact zone because there's completely flush fronted, but you've got a proper 4-cylinder engine. So they're a lot nicer to drive.
Yeah.
So it's going to be buzzy at speed, but at least it can do speed.
But it's just understanding that this is not, it's something different.
Yeah.
And it's something that doesn't fit really into our market. But in their own place, they are bloody amazing. And it was all I could do to not bring a little Aixam back from Mallorca.
Well,
unfortunately, they don't fit in your suitcase.
The little cars,
They do not fit in your suitcase.
They don't.
But yeah, I'm very sorry if anybody was upset.
Yeah, that is never my intent. I'm not Top Gear.
Absolutely not.
I'm not just, like Top Gear and Marinas, just going, oh, people got upset. Oh, we shall laugh at them and bully them. That's not what we're about.
But this has been our discussion
Yeah.
all morning. We were even distracted from watching Big Jet TV, and he's in Dubai.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, no.
So,
no.
Yeah, there you go. That was the end of our relationship. We're now off to get some counselling. I bet this has never been cited as a reason. What is the reason for your trouble? Oh, you wouldn't believe it. It's a weird little French utility vehicle.
What do you think it is?
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for watching. And we'll see you in well, it's probably hub notes, isn't it, really? Is hub notes or main channel?
I think it's going to cause a lot of discussion on the main channel.
Okay, well, we'll go main channel.
People are dismissive, and I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair at all.
Okay, well, there we go. Miss Hubnut makes the case for the Aixam Mega. So thank you for watching.
Anyway, I still like you.
And we'll see you in a future video. I'm so over you. Goodbye.
Whatever. Get back in this car.